I worked in the telecommunication industry, and I was a fiber optic cable puller, and I breathed in the dust, and that's how I got mesothelioma. I don't feel that it's right that I should have to go through all this stuff because of somebody else's negligence.
I've heard you have to be careful around it, but it's not like I'm afraid or anything. It's not that big a deal.
We worked with it all the time. Everybody did.
I don't plan to do this much longer, so I'm good.
Nobody thought of what's going to happen later on down the road. Especially not this.
I've been working construction renovation a couple years.
All you want to do is get your job done so you can go home.
If I think it's around, I just stay away from it, work in a different area.
Right now I'm in Baltimore to have a high-pec surgery with Dr. Oxane. I guess my understanding is it's like 10 hours long.
Would await me there. Suddenly I came to a wall. It didn't look very stable to me, so with a rather mediocre leap, I broke through that wall, and this wall was raising up dust like shit. I breathed some of it in, of course, and after that, I coughed like mad. And in this moment, some strange thoughts came in my mind. Asbestos got me down to the ground. Down, asbestos got me down to the ground. Asbestos got me down to the ground.
So you're saying the whole roof was taken out?
No, the whole roof, the sides, everything. The whole, I can show you. I've got video of them doing pickaxing and sawing and it took them 3 days. He only got this on the 23rd of January. He demolished it already.
But what is the council? Because now this is the permit from the council.
I agree.
So they need to do something about this because now he is in contravention of the
But they've done, this is the whole point. I've asked for an investigation. Nobody will answer me. Why do I have to go to the courts? Why do I have to spend money? He's put our lives at risk.
When you take any hazardous waste to the landfill site, you get the waste manifest document.
But
now remember, if he's not disputing that it's asbestos.
But he said he didn't know. He said he still doesn't know if it's asbestos.
Did you say that?
Yeah.
Did he put it in writing?
Yes.
Okay.
He put it in writing.
That
I don't know.
No.
I still don't know whether it's asbestos.
But you've got the waste manifest document from the landfill site.
But he won't give it to me. So what I have asked for is that the site that's there now, right? Because the sheeting on the roof is still asbestos sheeting. It's still the same sheeting. So I want that tested, and I want the inside tested, right? And it says, if you read all the heritage things, he has to apply for health and safety. It doesn't give him permission to demolish without going through to health and safety.
Okay, that's the seat of people because we don't issue permits for the demolition.
Well, this guy, he didn't manage to kill me. At least I thought he didn't. But I realized I had serious problems with breathing and I was coughing like a fucking cigarette addict. One morning I stood up, coughed, and blood was on the floor. I was like, well shit, I should go see my doctor. So I went to the doctor and he did an X-ray of me. And after that he said, well, how should I put this to you? Technically, you're dead. I give you about 3 weeks. Enjoy these 3 weeks of pain in your chest. Then he laughed like a maniac. After that he added, well, I'll tell you how it is. Listen carefully. Asbestos got you down to the ground. Oh, asbestos got you down to the ground. Asbestos got you down.
Because the bottom line is there's no ways in starting the job if it's going to be delayed or if it's going to be done unsafe.
We just want to know we're safe.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest to Fazeka, and I'll send her a mail as well, that she needs to stop the work, stop any until such time that the proper assessment
I
has
agree.
been done, as
That's
to
all we
determine,
want.
and then we can, but you also need to realise that if there is asbestos found, like typically
I want to live. I just want to get out of the way.
Yeah, but all right, let me do that.
That's constitutionally in my favour. I have a right to breathe clean air. And I don't trust this contractors.
That's why I said, I mean, if we are involved with the demolition work, we will most definitely put up monitoring sample points on your premises as well.
That would be fantastic. I'd love that because I'm paranoid about this.
No, that's fine. I mean, I don't have it.
And my neighbour said...
I'll tell you what, my father died on Visa for the other month.
Oh no.
So it's not the best way to go.
I'm sorry. I've got emails from, like my neighbour said he went to have a look at the skip today and he said the ceiling and flooring in it, right?
You didn't take a sample of that ceiling.
They won't let me. I've been asking them. It's not unreasonable. They keep emptying the skips. It's unlawful, actually.
Yeah. Obviously, the idea is to first remove all the asbestos safely. Now, I mean, typically, I mean, you know that many of our underground water pipes still contain asbestos. So you're probably not going to be able to remove that first, but I mean, at least if you know about it, you can remove it safely whenever you get there. Speak to the Zek, I'll send her a mail as well, and I'll send you the work back.
Have you contacted the Department of Labour at all?
No, because I wanted to first meet with you because I was a little bit confused because I want to establish what records does the city
The thing
have.
is, there's no confusion. I made it very clear on my emails. I couldn't have made it any more clear. I need to see the files. I don't want you just to pick things and eat. I need to see the full files because, as I explained to you on the phone, there's a bit of what I think shenanigans going on here. Okay, so I don't want them to choose things for me. I want to see the full files. That's my constitutional right. I told you to get hold of. You can either get hold of Fizika, or you can get hold.
Is Fizika the name of the person?
Fizika is the name of the person. I mean, it's better than that. I can give you a phone number, and you can call her now while we're here.
Let me phone her now whilst we're
Yeah.
here. And then she can guide us as to that. See, the problem with the city is our officials just remain quiet. And
because they don't want me to find out. That's the thing.
Let me phone her. What is her number? 082-791-6244. Okay.
And she's called Fizika, and she's from the Department of Labour.
Okay.
But the thing is, you see, this is what I don't this is what I don't understand, right? Is why they won't reply to any of my emails. I've asked questions, these same questions by email. Who is responsible?
Hi, good morning. Is it Fizika speaking? Fizika, my name is Sean Matthews from the city of Cape Town. Hello? Is it Fizika speaking? Fizika, my name is Sean Matthews from the city of Cape Town. I called you in connection with a request we received from Miss Chrissy Phillips in connection with is it 5316 Victoria Road, Bakeoven, Camps Bay.
And 58 too, which is 12 Victoria.
I'm phoning from the legal department from the city of Cape Town, and we received a request for access to information from Ms. Chrissy Phillips regarding an earth in Victoria Road, Bakeoven, Camps Bay. 2 earths in Victoria Road, Camps Bay. And she said she made contact with you.
She doesn't reply to my emails.
She said she requested labor records from you guys. Ms. Phillips, perhaps you can speak to and just guide her as to what exactly are you looking for.
Fizika? Hello? Hi, good morning, Fizika. It's Chrissy speaking. Number 16 Victoria Road. You came to my house and we discussed about various matters on this house, and I want to see the full files the Department of Labour have, i.e. the full files, anything you've got, i.e. I need to have the asbestos reports, everything from the No, you've got copies. I'm going through the I do not want to spend money on legal fees. My constitutional right, I am legally can go through PIA, okay? I've done that, darling. I'm with the city lawyers. Do you not understand? You cannot stop. You cannot. Just listen to me, Fazika. Please don't block me. Okay, well, I've done the right process. I've done that. Mr. Matthews is very kindly phoning you. It's impossible. Correct. Okay, then he just needs to be guided by you because you're refusing to answer my emails. Just one moment, will you please talk to the city legal services? Let him know where he goes, okay? Hang on.
Hi, Fazeka.
She's so difficult.
No. Fazeka, I'm working for the City of Cape Town, and Ms. Phillips has sent us requests for access to information in terms of the Promotion of Access Information Act, right? Now, there's certain records that she wants, and apparently some of the records is not with us. It's supposed to be with the Department of Labour. Yes, but okay. Now tell me quickly, do you have details where we can send this request to so that we can address it? Yeah. I'm not representing her. I need to transfer the request then to you guys. Yeah. Okay, but now who do we forward it to? To you. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. Arrogant.
Tell me, how difficult is she?
But she first wanted to start a fight with me.
And after that, I ran away like a fucking chicken.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared to death.
This case, like all of these cases, is a dogfight.
There's no level of exposure that experts can give you a written guarantee that's 100% safe.
I don't feel to them that we're people. We're just a number.
Any house constructed before 1980 will probably contain some asbestos products. To protect yourself from asbestos during renovations or demolition, the most important thing you can do is to have the house surveyed by a qualified asbestos professional. He or she will collect samples from suspected building products in the house and have them tested for asbestos. Building materials that do contain asbestos can look identical to materials that don't. The only way to tell the difference is to have the materials analyzed by a qualified lab. Both plaster and drywall can contain asbestos. Asbestos-containing drywall filler, or mud, is very common in houses constructed before 1990. The mud is a finishing coat that's normally applied to the seams, nail or screw holes, and edges before a wall is painted. Ceilings with sprayed-on texturing may also contain asbestos. The backing of the vinyl sheet flooring contained asbestos. Asbestos was also encased within the vinyl floor tile. Fireplaces may contain asbestos boards or pads below the mantel or hidden at the back of the fireplace. Artificial embers and ashes in gas fireplaces may also contain asbestos. Houses can be heated by a furnace or boiler, and this equipment, especially older boilers, may be insulated with asbestos. Seams in metal ducting are often covered with asbestos tape. Ducts and piping may also be wrapped in asbestos insulation. Even the cement or mastic used to seal pipes where they go through walls may contain asbestos. The walls of the furnace room in this house are covered with asbestos cement board, also known as transite. Sometimes there's more than one layer of insulation. Here, pink fiberglass insulation is on top and a loose insulation is beneath. Loose insulation, particularly vermiculite, may contain asbestos. You can see the asbestos fibers in this vermiculite sample that's under a microscope. Even the outside of the house should be checked for asbestos products, including the putty around older windows. Asbestos cement siding was a commonly used material. Asbestos is also found in various roofing materials, including asphalt roofing paper and asphalt shingles. Concrete block walls are hollow, and the spaces may have been filled with the same type of asbestos-containing vermiculite insulation you could find in an attic. For your safety, any asbestos-containing materials that are found during a worksite survey must be removed by workers who are trained in asbestos removal and wear protective clothing and a respirator. Unless you're properly trained, don't try it yourself.
Asbestos is a fibrous mineral that's resistant to chemicals and heat, and very tough. It was also added to the building materials of many older homes. As a worker or homeowner, the hazard exists when undertaking a renovation or demolition. The danger is releasing the asbestos fibers into the air. When a worker breathes, asbestos fibers enter the mouth and nose and flow down the air passages deep into the lungs.
Some of the jobs are kind of sketchy, but whatever. I need the money.
The fibers lodge in the delicate lung tissue where oxygen is absorbed into the blood. Immune system cells try and break down the asbestos fibers and become damaged and die. Scar tissue forms around the dead cells and spreads as more fibers embed in the lungs. Asbestos fibers can remain in the lungs for long periods, and the scar tissue that results continues to develop for many years after exposure.
I've been out of construction for years. I probably should have been more concerned.
Eventually, so much scar tissue develops that the lungs stop working.
No, I didn't know you could get sick from just one time.
There's nothing I can do about it now.
I can remember it just like it was yesterday. I was going to work. I was already feeling a little lethargic, and I got orange juice, and I drank it, and it wasn't even probably 30, 40 seconds later, I felt like somebody stabbed me in the stomach with a machete. And then the doctor came in and said, "Chris, I fixed the rupture. I took a sample of the cancer, and you have a stomach full of it. It's stage 4 without question." He pretty much told me that I needed to get my affairs in order. To a 6-year-old, the daddy's gonna excuse me. She got really upset that I was gonna have to go through that again. And sorry.
As you can imagine, your life is completely upside down. One day he went into the hospital and he never went back to work again, and he's been sick ever since. That was a year ago. So I essentially work weekends, nights, holidays, all the time.
There is no safe level of exposure to asbestos. So are we going to see more people like Chris getting disease from small exposures? Absolutely. The time bomb is already in the chests and the lungs of Americans. For the last 15 years, my practice in law has focused on representing people and families that are suffering from asbestos-related diseases. Chris is a very young man in terms of having mesothelioma. He could be my younger brother. What makes this job significant for me is getting to know my clients. What makes this job difficult for me is getting to know my clients, because they all die. There is no escape from mesothelioma. It is a terminal disease, and nobody should ever get it. What happened to Chris is he was working for a contractor, a company called Danella. They were pulling out old cables and pulling in new fiber optic cables. And this all happened in the 2002 to 2005 time frame. Chris was exposed to asbestos fibers that came off of the asbestos cement pipes. Basically, only asbestos causes mesothelioma. He had an incredibly invasive surgery, terrible complications from it, and spent weeks in the hospital.
That's the incision they had to make for the emergency surgery because of the infection.
He's had additional complications and hospitalizations since, but he's at home now with his family and doing his best to try and get his strength back.
I only have short bursts of energy, so I really have to think about every step, like I have to premeditate.
In terms of Chris's health, I remain hopeful that Chris will respond to the surgery, respond to the chemotherapy, and have as much good time with his family as he can. Other than that, only God knows.
Well, this guy, he didn't manage to kill me. At least I thought he didn't. But I realized I had serious problems with breathing and I was coughing like a fucking cigarette addict. One morning I stood up, coughed.
The problem with that is, Danella can only warn its employees about things Danella knows about. And the only companies that were in possession of that basic information were Bell South and AT&T. And they didn't share that information. And they're not really contending that they did.
How should I put this to you? Technically, you're dead. I give you about 3 weeks. Enjoy these 3 weeks of pain in your chest. Then he laughed like a maniac. After that he added, well, I'll tell you how it is. Listen carefully. Asbestos got you down, down.